10 richest men in the world.
Wow.
Half of them are divorced, yet they're very rich.
Why?
Because they put in the effort to understand their finances and neglected the marriage. So being rich doesn't mean you have the capability to sustain a marriage. Let's start from there. There's reality and then there's dreams.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, it's true. We would like to live, let's say, in Runda, but right now we can afford somewhere else, you know. So how do we work towards getting to Runda, but at the same time not stress ourselves? When we were growing up, our parents kept telling us, there's no money. You ask for something, there's no money. You ask for, there's no money.
Yeah.
So you grew up knowing there was no money.
Yeah.
So when you did eventually get to start earning your own money, you were very careful about the money you had. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that tumezoea kujinyima hadi tunajisahau.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
Tonight on Family Redefined, we get to talk about family and finances. And I think this is very, very, very important. But before we get into this, I encourage you to be part of this conversation. Talk to us on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on X, that is at pearl.ke. The hashtag is Family Redefined. Or as well, you can text in on 0702 969 969. That is 0702 969 969. Now, let us jump straight into it. Sharon, family and finance, why is it very important for us to discuss this?
This is one of those topics that can bring a family, you know, into a hot mess.
Yeah.
Or just be the basis for them flourishing. It's important because it contributes to the emotional and relational stability within families, whereby you know that poor financial management can lead to stress and conflict. So it is very important for a family to establish a budget and to track their income and expenses, to discuss short-term and long-term goals when it comes to finances as a family, and also to create an emergency fund as a family. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because it sets you up for success. It reduces your stress. It just makes sure that your family is well taken care of. Yeah, for short-term and long-term as well.
You've mentioned about spending, and I want us to also start from there. How? Let's talk about spending habits, because I know, especially for a couple, you'll find that those people who are spendthrift.
Yes.
But there is this other one who also withholds. You know, the Bible talks about managing your finances.
Yes.
You know, it's very, very important.
Yes.
So where do we draw the line? Let's say. Also, we are living also in an era most of the times. Okay, the man is the breadwinner.
Yes.
But also on the other end, the woman is there. But also it can be the other way around. The man can be the spendthrift.
Yes.
So what do you do when there is that balance? You know, and that shift, that rift, I mean, between the couple. Maybe one of them is a spendthrift. The other one also, when it comes to spending, anasema anafinya kila kitu.
I think on this show you've always said the first thing is to make sure that when you guys are getting together as a couple, you're aware of each other's good sides and bad sides, and then be aware if it's something you can live with for the rest of your lives. So if in the event you find that maybe, let's say, your spouse is a spendthrift, that those are things you should learn even from the dating. When you begin to court, there are signs. Those are the things you should sit down and talk about. And in the event you've gotten married and that's the case, then those are important conversations to have.
Yeah.
Come up with budgets. Decide how much can we spend in a month. What is your monthly allowance? How much do we save? So take care of the important things first, and then always communicate, especially if it's something that really gets you angry when it comes to your partner's spending habits. Those are very important discussions, because we know finances have broken marriages in the past.
True.
It's not the first time. It's one of the biggest pain points in marriages. So these are very open conversations that couples need to have. Yeah.
You've mentioned about the strengths and the weaknesses, and I think it's very important that we talk about also being too careful. You know, there are those people who are too careful, like, and actually, during those days, we'll find our parents, they will never buy anything for themselves.
Yes, that's
they say, you know what, this is for my, I need to pay for school fees, pay for this bill. But unapata kona nguo mekana for almost 10 years. never change.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line when it comes to also kulegeza, kamba kidogo?
You see, these are habits that are formed from childhood. Because us as parents, the way I remember, like for us, when we were growing up, our parents kept telling us, "There's no money. You ask for something, there's no money. You ask for, there's no money."
Yeah.
So you grew up knowing there was no money.
Yeah.
So when you did eventually get to start earning your own money, you were very careful about the money you had. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that tumezoea kujinyima hadi tunajisahau.
True.
Because that is what we saw. Boomers were very good at kujinyima. Until now, the children have left the nest. That's when they realize, oh, life is for the living.
True.
And we need to start living life as, because hiyo pesa yote umeweka kwa bank, maybe you have so much money in the bank and you're not using it. Utaiacha tu hapa duniani. So at some point you need to figure out what the balance is and how it looks like. There are people who go for therapy just to unpack why they feel so stuck, especially when it comes to spending money, because sometimes it's not because they don't have the money. The money is there, but they just can't find it in themselves to spend it because of their childhood, their upbringing when it comes to finances. Yeah. So I feel like it's in the mind, for starters. It's something that you need to look at your spending habits and allow yourself to enjoy the money you have. As little as it may be, it doesn't have to be a lot. You can decide, I'm buying myself a pair of shoes. I'll start with that. Every month I'll decide I'll just change my pair of shoes. Or every month I'll buy myself a new dress. It can be as little as 500 shillings to as much as you want. But you have to start somewhere, and it has to be intentional. Yeah.
It has been said that your spending habits should be proportional based on what you're earning. And I think there's people have been putting particular percentage that if you're earning this amount, this should be your rent. This should be but also at the same time you take a look at also not living a life of of withholding to a point that you're living a life that is not really good in as much you are trying to save. So when it comes to, let us even talk about it literally. When it comes to what you're earning, let's say someone is earning, let's talk about someone is earning around 30,000. What should be their rent? And also in terms of also planning for, because I know this is where we get most of the clashes usually happen in this particular point.
Yes.
Because a lady says, hey, we need to stay in a good 3-bedroom, and you're looking at your salary is like
it is not possible.
It is not possible.
Exactly.
Yes.
I feel like these are discussions, first of all, as a family you need to have. Put all your income on the table, agree this is how much we earn, and this is where we can afford to live. There's reality, and then there's dreams.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, it's true. We would like to live, let's say, in Runda, but right now we can afford somewhere else. So how do we work towards getting to Runda, but at the same time not stress ourselves? Because you find in most cases, in the African context, the man gets really stressed when it comes to finances, because I know, and you might correct me if I'm wrong, but men, if you do not provide, you feel as if you're failing.
It's very
in a
true.
way.
Very true. Very
so
true.
I feel that the spouses should meet the man halfway and understand that I would want to get to Runda, but right now we cannot afford Runda. So what can we afford? We have 30,000. That means maybe the house you can afford to live in maybe is a house worth 7,000 Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you might even decide this is not even the right time to have kids, because also finances play a big part in terms of what is it called? Control. Birth control,
yes,
so to speak. Because you need to plan your finances as well, because when kids come into the picture, the budget changes. Things are different. So even in terms of family planning, how are you spacing out the birth order of your children in terms of your finances? I know we are called to fill the earth and procreate, but at the same time we have to do it with wisdom. You can't just say that you're going to have 10 children and your salary is 30,000 Kenya shillings. What are these children going to eat? Where are you going to live? Now, how are they going to go to school?
Where do we draw the line in terms of faith? Because of those who have faith, like, I know the Lord is going to provide. I don't want to limit myself with this. I know God is going to provide in other ways. So where do we draw the line between now the faith factor and the reality and the facts?
God is a God of wisdom. He will not tell you to go in a specific direction if he knows that he's not going to provide. Let's start from there. 2, we've been given common sense as well. There are things that you cannot do, yet you know very well you're not able to. So bringing in faith at this, you have to balance. There has to be a way for you to decide. Then the Holy Spirit guides. That's what I feel. The Holy Spirit will guide you in the right direction. God cannot take you on a journey knowing very well that he is not able to provide. Yeah. So it is for you to differentiate. I don't think that is something someone can tell you outrightly that this is how you need to do or what you need to do. It is you to decide how that looks like, depending on, number 1, your relationship with God, number 2, the information you have, because also financial literacy is very important. Taking that time to just, do your research and look at different resources, that can also help in terms of determining how you're going to handle your finances. Yeah.
Awesome. And we just want to take a very, very short break. Now, when you come back in the next minute, I want to bring this point over. And I know there's been this conversation, I don't know why it's still always there, that, when a man is earning, the money is for everybody. When the woman is earning, I know the man is supposed to provide.
Yeah.
So there's been always this
the husband's money is the family's money.
Yes.
And the wife's money is the wife's money.
Pesa yangu ni pesa yetu. Na pesa yako ni pesa.
Ni pesa yangu.
Yes. So is it, let's first of all, say that it is. Is it okay? Is it right?
In this day and time, in my opinion, no, it is not. I believe that we need to consider the cultural and historical context of where this came from. Remember, in the past, men were the primary breadwinners.
True. Which
led to some expectations that their money supports the family, while women were often seen as homemakers. And this belief still persists in many cultures. However, modern relationships have shifted, and now both partners often work.
Yeah.
Both partners are going out there to look for money. And so this challenges these traditional roles. So I feel that we need to change. We need to take a shift, because this can create resentment in the family, where one partner feels overburdened and the other feels undervalued. So it is important to understand that financial expectations affect both the emotional and relational well-being of a relationship. And if we look at it from that point of view, then most people would be willing to meet halfway.
So is it supposed to be 50-50?
It might not be 50-50, because maybe one partner is bringing in more than the other, but I don't feel that the man should be overburdened with provision. The woman should come in, and even if it's not in monetary terms, they should be able to meet halfway.
Because there's a question of course, men have ego, and they want to be at the top, of course, so they are trying to protect that image, that I am the head of this family, I ought to provide.
Yes.
And so there is that pressure of trying to always be there. But at the same time, you'll find women of nowadays, they are empowered, and like you mentioned, they could be even earning more than the man.
For sure.
So how can you be able to handle such? Because I've realized there have been many cases of where men actually decided to end the relationship because the woman earns more than him, and so is fearing the issue of submission and also respect. Yeah.
I want us to take a look at Ephesians chapter 5 verse 31 that reminds us that marriage involves two becoming one, including finances. Finances is a part of marriage. So that means that the decisions should reflect mutual respect, love, and shared responsibility. So I feel like both parties need to change their mindsets. The man needs to move from that point whereby the ego is overpowering the need for shared responsibility.
Yeah.
And the woman needs to understand that I need to meet my husband halfway and still submit as I should. Yeah.
Wow, and I think that is very true, and I think that is very correct. If we approach it in that way, then you can be able to bring now a solution to this.
Yeah, because Israel, in a partnership, it's not about who brings the most money. It's about what each partner contributes to the family's well-being.
Yeah.
What is that? You know, the wife's money might not always go into the joint account, but her efforts are also recognized in other areas. You know, and that's why you find I've seen a couple of things online whereby when a woman, let's say God forbid, they divorce, the woman lives with nothing.
Yeah.
And the man says she didn't contribute anything. So that is because her contribution is pegged on finances. But you forget that this woman carried your children for 9 months.
Yeah.
You forget that her body, her mental state, her chemical, what is it called? The inside of her brain has changed.
Yeah.
Her chemical constitution has changed just because of carrying a child. You know, she stayed up most nights breastfeeding this child. She's the one who manages the home, makes sure that when you come home in the evening, that, you know, food is ready. It's very sad that we've still maintained the historical stereotypes. We need to challenge these stereotypes, and we need to shift for us to have healthy families.
And one amazing thing is also the blessings that even men brag with. Some of them came actually because of, you know, marriage.
Exactly.
Because even the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yes.
And obtains favor.
Exactly.
From God. So there's a favor that comes in marriage. Me, I realized there's some things personally. I realized there's some things I could not achieve. Actually, I tried so hard, but when I got married, God opened those doors.
It's because you've been given an opportunity to now sit and rest. So your mental health is being, you know, you have the capacity to think because other things are being taken care of. And those are the things people forget.
Yeah.
That it's not just about the money. It's about the emotional well-being that this partnership brings. The fact that when you get home in the evening, there's some things you don't have to worry about. The fact that your creativity can blossom because you have a clean house. You know?
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, you're not thinking of where do I sit to be creative. The space is already there for you. That in itself is a resource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we are learning tonight, and I think we are breaking even those stereotypes that, you know, we don't have to say that, you know, I'm the head of this family now at whole finances. No, I think we are putting, you know, that's why we are redefining that.
Exactly.
And I think also there's something that you mentioned when you started off. You talk about financial, you know, professional.
Yes.
And sometimes people think these things they don't take them serious. The importance of having a professional to come in and bring the, you know, to advise you and also to give the guidelines based on where you are as a couple.
It's very important. I'm looking at, and I think I've said this before, I'm looking at the 10 top most richest men in the world. Right now, I think half of them are divorced.
10?
The 10 richest men in the world.
Wow.
Half of them are divorced, yet they're very rich.
Why?
Because they put in the effort to understand their finances and neglected the marriage. So being rich doesn't mean you have the capability to sustain a marriage. Let's start from there. So we don't know everything. That's the point I'm trying to put across.
Yeah.
They took the time to learn how to make wealth.
Yeah.
We are not born with all knowledge. That is why people diversify. That is why people specialize in different careers. Like now, there's some things you can do better than I can do, and vice versa. And we have to respect that. That is why it is important to at least get help. You know, see a financial professional. Tell them these are our goals for the next 1 year. In fact, you can put it as a January kind of thing, whereby in January you sit down with a professional, a financial person, and tell them these are the goals we have for the rest of the year. Help us come up with a plan. Spend that money to get someone to show you the way to go. This is how you invest. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to cut on your costs in terms of spending. Those are the things we need to do. And then use that as a blueprint for the rest of the year. But as Africans, we think we know everything.
Yeah, and I think even when you share those statistics, I'm just reminded that men are work oriented.
Yes.
And women are family oriented. Even when it comes to finances, when it comes to money, we'll find men that will use their money in things which they will actually kind of clash.
Yes.
Because ladies will we'll be doing this. I want to do this for our family, and so you'll find even in terms of also refurnishing the house. Babe, we need a new set of TV. But for man, will be thinking other things. I need to invest.
Yes.
If it's from the other side of Murima, we need 50 by 100 somewhere in Joska, Mala. So how do we balance that?
I personally believe in living in the moment, in the sense that I'm not disputing that you need to plan for the future, but at the same time, you also need to live in the moment and be comfortable. That's why the budgeting is very important. As you, let's say, make sure that your home is looking nice and beautiful and comfortable, so that you have space to think and space to be healthy emotionally, because no one can think in a cluttered place or a place that is not looking nice.
Yeah.
At the same time, try and save. So everything can be done, but you need to plan. You need to budget. That's why sitting, the two of you, and agreeing, and even bringing in the kids as well, that this is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to spend our money for the next 1 year. We have a goal. We need to buy a plot. At the same time, we need new seats. So where is this money coming from?
And also we need to go on a vacation.
Exactly. And whatever cannot be done does not have to be done.
Yeah.
Prioritize and be comfortable with that. But then there's also the place of trying to compare yourselves with your peers. There's that. There's the pressure, the societal pressure that even comes from social media. You've seen some posts, some celebrities on social media posting their homes, the way they are living, and that is what you want to go for, But then you forget that, number one, these guys show you the part of their lives that they want you to see. They don't show you everything. Number two, some of them are being sponsored. This is not money they have spent. They are being sponsored to be able to show you that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Alafu unakimbililia your lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that is where we are as a nation. We'll find even the influencers, some of them are actually, it's business actually.
Yes, it is.
They're just promoting that company or that organization, and then you're like, babe, why have you ever babe, mi ujanipeleka. When was the last time babe ulinipeleka Maldives?
Tuache pressure. Tuacheni pressure tafadhali. Live within your means. Yeah.
And I think that is very important. Live within your means, because I think the art of comparison is one of the things that is destroying marriages.
It is that comparison part, or maybe you have a couple friend of you. There's always that one couple, your rivals, your frenemies.
Yeah.
Your friends,
frenemies.
Your frenemies. Mkienda kwa unasema unaenda kuangalia leo amenunua nini.
Yeah.
What new thing have they bought?
Yeah.
So the first thing you do when you enter their house ni kusorora. Hiyo kitu sikupata hapo. Okay, sawa. So you start planning in that way that this is how I'm not, when we get home, these are the things we're going to discuss. Babe, did you see that seat? We need to get such a seat, or we need to get something better.
Yeah.
Now, for you to attain that lifestyle, you end up maybe taking a loan or overspending, or taking money from something you had budgeted that was equally important to buy things that maybe you don't need. We need to understand that. Go at your own pace. Stop rushing. Yeah.
Wow, go at your own pace.
Exactly.
And you've mentioned about loans.
96.9 FM, Pearl Radio.